be in the video?
No, it's okay. We can be right here.
You're like big time in the video. I can't zoom in more because he's right in front. The edge of your shoulder.
How are you? What is your date of departure? You going early? Yeah, Sunday.
My son's gonna take my son.
I can't. I have to leave September 12. Yeah?
Yeah, it's all yours.
Yeah,
okay. We darf doch schon nicht vorstellen.
Yeah. We don't need any introduction. Who that? Schleimele? Schleimele, schon lange nicht gesehen.
I saw Ginsburg.
Which one, Ellie? Ellie.
Yeah.
What's going on, Shleimi? How was your summer? Long time no speak. We're back. Ready or not, here we come. But we're not really ready.
Wait, where's the recording thing?
I think it's starting to start. But I want to first, I'll tell you. Okay, are we ready to start?
Somebody wants the audio?
Yeah.
Hold on a second, please.
Yeah, somebody asked who's this.
Yeah, I want to hear them. I do. I think that we should. That's one of the things I want to do. And I think we're gonna we always say this is not a shir. This is a chabura, which means that it's everybody together. So we all learned the Torah a little bit, and I just want to point out the map of the Torah before. I just want to say.
One second.
Still not ready?
No, he said somebody wants to come in on audio. I share it with you so you have the phone number there and the ID and everything. This I could end up exporting just audio. Yeah, that I could do.
On Sunday?
No, you don't have a ticket yet. So.
What?
Do you have a ticket yet? Not yet. I don't need to have a ticket yet.
Got for Wednesday, but...
I think the items should try to go a little early. First of all,
Wednesday before, so the week before,
No.
or right before.
everybody has intentions to go. Nobody's scared, right?
Wait. scared or not, intention to go with the scared or
Rob-
without the
We
scared.
need to be there. There's no
Robson,
Yes, I'm scared, but I still have the intention to go.
I heard actually the gold rings are not going.
To go, I'm the only one, by the way. I'm the only one that's very
the only
serious
one that's,
about it.
that's saying I'm going. Yeah.
Which Torah we're going to learn now?
We're learning Torah Samachay. I don't know if you know, but we're starting it actually all the Kollel. Shlomi, maybe you come join us in Lakewood. The Kollel are all starting Sunday to learn Torah Samachay. They in Eretz Yisrael they started already Rosh Chodesh Av, and here in Muncie they started I think Tisha B'Av, after Tisha B'Av. And that's a Torah that's the journey that the Rebbe is taking us for the next month in preparation to Rosh Hashanah, which I don't really see the connection to Rosh Hashanah yet. But Likuta Halachos, the Rebbe Nosson talks about the connection to Rosh Hashanah. But it's definitely connected, because there's no such a thing that we're learning the Torah, and the Rebbe is talking to us now. And remember, that is the klal. The klal is that that we believe that the whole idea of this whole learning the Torah be'in, in every Torah that we learn is a prescription and a remedy for our emotional, spiritual, physical journey that we go through. And the Rebbe is talking directly to each and every one of us. And therefore, like we said, we mentioned this many times before, is that when we're learning it, the first thing is the place that you have to put yourself into is the place of, the Rebbe talks about it in Siv Dalet, about bittul to the tachlis, bittul to the tzaddik, bittul to the Baal HaSodah. And to understand that the Rebbe is talking to me individually and to all of us globally. If we're all learning the same Torah, it must be that this Torah is relevant to everything that we're going through presently. And I think that the Olam saw this in Torah Chafei that we learned before, and even Torah Ayin that we learned before that. Somehow, it was, you found yourself with the theme of the Torah, the idea of the Torah. If you were living the idea of the Torah, you were able to find it in your practical day to day, and to use it as a tool to find Hashem and come closer to the Eibishter. And that is the tachlis of what the Rebbe is talking to us, and that's why the way we learn the Torah is we're challenging, not from a place of challenging the Rebbe in a place of, with a superiority, but faket, with a place of, if you're talking to me, Rebbe, I need to understand what you're saying to me. And some questions get answered, and some questions don't get answered. Not always are you going to get the answer, but sometimes when you get the answer, and your answer and my answer could be two different answers. Because we're not coming to say the pshat in what the Rebbe said. The pshat in what the Rebbe says, we'll never get to understand soif daitoi from the tzaddik emes that was masig everything asogas alikuz, that was not it was not just the human brain and intellect that asked the question and gave the teretz. This is ein soif. It's ein soif. The Rebbe talks about it in this story we learned it yesterday, that the bittul to the tachlis is being mevatel yourself to something that's unlimited, that's ein soif. And the seichel doesn't have the place and the capabilities to be makabel this ein soif, because the seichel is a kalim, and the kalim is limited, and the kalim can't be makabel. So the point is that the Rebbe is ein soif. The Torahs of the Rebbe are ein soif. It's mamish, and you see that it's infinite, and it's coming from such high places that we can never be yored l'soif data and the pshat of what the Rebbe said over here. We could say things, but there's always a deeper level. But the one thing we could do is we could learn pshat and what the Rebbe is saying, what's negayah to me today. And today, when I find a path and a way that the Rebbe talks to me, I'm using that path for that's my pshat in the Torah for today, and my pshat and your pshat could be different in the same exact thing, and it's not a steer. So the disclaimer before we go and say anything here is that we're not trying to say pshat. I'm not saying this is the pshat. Even sometimes it looks like it's mamish, beautiful, and how it fits, and how it thing, but I'm not saying that this is pshat, because who am I to say pshat in the Rebbe? I'm saying that this is the pshat that shine to me behind, and that in a way that I can either use it as living this idea as a tool to use it in Avodas Hashem in my today's day and my challenges that I'm going through on a daily basis. I wanted to say again that the shir and the Kollel, the Chlal, and all the Torah that we're learning here is Le'ilah Nishmas, my friend Chaim ben Yitzchak, his daughter Malka bas Chaim, and his son-in-law Yisrael Tzvi Yosef ben Moshe Chanoi Chenuch. And I also want to inform the Olam that we're opening this Chodesh 2 more Kollelim, one in, and it could be more, but one is Vada in Belgium. They have 15 guys that heard about what's going on over here, and they want to be mitzvah. And they said, and I just said jumped, and I said let's do it, and they're trying to do it the same way that we're doing it over here. But it's a big thing that it's mamish. And then in Far Rockaway, also they put together Olam of 7 or 8 Yugalite that they want. And now in Baltimore, that's not confirmed. These are 2 confirmed. But in Baltimore and in Williamsburg, they're also contemplating. And I said, Vakasha, if so, at least for Chodesh El, that it's a preparation. And one of the things also I want to say is that whoever is going to Oman early, we are, as of Sunday, the same Heichel Leza Shana gave us the Heichel HaTorah, which is also on Chaim's name, Torah's Chaim, Heichel HaTorah Chaim, and we are, we're encouraging, not encouraging, it's almost mandatory that if you're part of the Kollel here and you come to Oman, you have to be part of the Kollel there too. Because if we all have the opportunity, I was thinking, how do we get all the Kollels to get together? We're doing the same thing. The only place that we really have that opportunity is in Oman. So, and also it gives you an incentive to maybe go earlier because at least you're going there and you're still getting paid. And over there, the Kollel is going to be not just the Kollel Likutim Moran. It's going to be also, it's going to be a Kollel like we did it last year. In other words, it's going to be Kollel of Halacha with Gemara, Pi Halacha. So encouraging everybody, and whether you're getting paid or you're not getting paid, to come, and if you come a little bit early, to be part of that last year. It was such a beautiful Ruach Torah that was never, I'm going 33 years to Oman, it was never such a thing that you had, first of all, that you had a Mokum Torah, and second of all, that you had there was such a Ruach. We were learning Torah, remember at the time, I don't know if you remember, but if you you were listening on the street, you heard 2 guys talking, and they're talking Torah Mem. You went to the Tzion, you heard they're talking Torah Mem. It was a beautiful, was something that Oman never saw. And if you remember Torah Mem, the Rebbe talks about the sparos, that from each individual, you mamish saw the sparos of living the Rebbe Zach. And the Rebbe says, Ikat Tzadik hu Torah, the Ikat Tzadik is the Torah. So yeah, so we're just encouraging everybody. So now let's go into the Torah a little bit. I'm going to tell you that I'm learning the Torah already for about 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks. And I still, it's like, I don't see the connection between Sif Aleph, Sif Bey, Sif Gimel, Sif Dal. It's like the Rebbe is giving us individual things, and then he's connecting it. But so I do want to say, and I'm sure everybody learned this. I suggest that when you're learning the Torah, the first thing is to get the map of the Torah, and the map of the Torah doesn't have to be with all the pratim. The Rebbe talks in Sif Aleph about the Soda and the Bala Soda. In Sif Beis, he talks about the Sdei Tzoifim and the Sdei Boichim and the Dibura Tefillah. And in Sif Gimel, he talks about the Achdus of bringing the Tefillah together. That the Tefillah should be, which the whole Tachlis of the Bala Soda L'Chayra is that he's bringing in the Dibura Tefillah, that he's able to see in your Dibura Tefillah where you're holding and how far you are from the Tachlis. And to make, and L'Chayra, that the L'Chayra, I'm saying everything L'Chayra, that the Baal Soda is telling us how because I can't understand how you could make, the Rebbe says this beautiful romantic thing in the Sif Beis about making the Tefillah one, that every Ois Tefillah that's coming out of the Nefesh every ois that's coming out of the nefesh is the dibur is begging the nefesh and saying, I don't want to be. How could you go away from me? And we love each other so much, but at least if you're going to go away from me, don't forget me. And I was talking to my chavrusa, how is that practically? How do you do it? How do you practically? And I started thinking in my davening, you start saying Baruch, and I'm sure everybody starts thinking about it. The Rebbe's talking about Baruch. Baruch is made up of the 4 oises of Beis, Reish, Vav, and Chav. And the Beis is waiting for the Reish, and the Vav, and the Chav. And how do you do this practically? So maybe in one bracha, not that you could do the oises, but the theme of Slach Lanu is talking about Slach Lanu Avinu Ki Chotonu, Machal Lanu Makenu Ki Vashonu, Ki Keil Toiv Esalachoto, Baruch Atah Hashem Chanu Amar B'Leslach. There is a connection to Slach Lanu Avinu Ki Chotonu, and you could say that the oises are going, but how do you do it practically? And I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm not saying that this is the answer, but it seems like that even if we can do it, the Baal HaSoda does it for us. And that's what the tzaddik is doing for us. And that's something that maybe, perhaps, that's the Avodas HaSoda, the Baal HaSoda is continuously doing. Anyway, in Sif Gimel, you see that the Rebbe talks about this thing of Echad, of the Achdus, of making this one, and that this oneness is the way to be able to conquer not just the Tefillah, but the Yisurim that a person goes through, and the Baal HaSoda goes through, but every individual goes through the Yisurim, and that by being mevatel yourself to the Tachlis, you're able to come to this place of first the Reeh la Tachlis. By the way, I'm sure everybody knows the Rebbe is talking about Reeh throughout the Torah. And that this Reeh is a stakus asher yayin loyrasa. So, and basically that's the map of the Torah. And then, when a person gets to this bittul, to the tachlis, and he's not capable of staying there, and when he comes back, the Yisurim get even bigger. So what happens is that he gets the Rishima, and this Rishima is the Rishima, the impression of being Dveikus in this place of bittul al tachlis and seeing that this kuloi echad kuloi toiv, that gives him this chachas haTorah, and that this chachas haTorah is what brings the person to be able to go through and conquer the Yisurim and taka make the tefillah into one, which is the avodah of the Baal HaSoda, and that's pretty much the map of the Torah in very, very, very short. Now let's go in and start going into Sif Aleph, and like I said, I don't have Mahalchim here. We said some nice things that are possibilities, but let's see in just the way of, I want to hear how the Olam learned this, and how did you get past these questions? Not that they're things, just understanding what the Rebbe says. So let's start Sif Aleph. Obviously, everything's going on the posuk of Yomer Boyez Rus, but let's leave that for now. Let's go into Sif Aleph. Da. Zog the Heilige Rebbe, ki yesh soda. There is a field, v'sham gedelim ilonois, v'asovim yofim v'noyim ma'od. There is a field, and this field is growing these trees and these plants that are very beautiful and very, very pleasant. Ma'od. So, v'goydol yikar yefei hasoda v'gidulov iyav shalasapa. And the bigness of the value of the beauty of the soda and its produce and what grows from it is words cannot describe it. Ashrei ayin ra'as. Praised is the eye that saw this beautiful field. V'ilonas v'asovim hem bechinas neshamas kedoshos agdelim sham. And these ilonas and asovim, these are the Indian of these neshamas that are in this field. So, first of all, the Rebbe is telling us that there's this beautiful field. Reb Chaim. The Rebbe is telling us that there's this beautiful field, and that this field, what is the beauty of the field? That in the field there is these ilonos, these trees, and these plants, and at this point, the Rebbe doesn't indicate what is the beauty of the trees and the plants. Is the peiros the beauty? In Sif Beis, the Rebbe starts talking about the peiros, but over here, and another thing is the Rebbe talks about
What
this.
else could it be? It's not
What? But the Rebbe doesn't talk about the tree itself. that means the tree itself and the asavim. And he's telling us that it's something so beautiful that words can't describe it. So it's a very interesting lashon that he says, words cannot, that the words cannot describe it. And the whole, if we go into Siv Beis, I'm just jumping for a second, you see that the whole thing of the Baal Soda is to go into the Diburei Atfilah, into the Dibur, into words. And the Rebbe is telling us that the field is, words can't describe it. Only the Reeh, Ashrei Ayin Razazos. That means that maybe, perhaps, possibly, that when the Rebbe says later on that the Reeh, the stakless on the, I know some people are not familiar, I'm sorry that we're jumping into it. I'm just saying that I want to show connection. That maybe this Reeh of Ashrei Ayin Razazos is this Reeh to the Tachlis that the Rebbe talks about later in Sif Gimel. Maybe there's some kind of a connection. So
he's talking about me?
Is he talking about you? Yeah, you know why? Because he's talking about this beautiful tree. So, Shlomi, you're a beautiful tree. Of course he's talking about you.
I've seen him.
Yeah, I can't see him. I can only hear you, Shlomi. I don't see you. But yeah, he's talking about you. And I knew, by the way, you gave me 10 minutes of talking without even interrupting. What happened? Anyway, so the Rebbe's talking
around. I didn't want him to get distracted.
The Rebbe's talking.
We see when he sees what? When people go in the right direction.
So the Rebbe talks later on about how.
That's what you're talking about?
The Rebbe talks later on that the person has to look at the tachlis, and the re'iyah to the tachlis, that's when he's able to go out. So this re'iyah, it seems like this sada is also a place of Ein Sof. It's also a place that and that's why words can't describe it, because it's beyond limitation. Words are limited, but vision, it has no limitation, right? Re'iyah has no limitation, l'chayra. So or the limitation of Re'iyah is much more broader. In other words, it's more infinite or closer. Bandwidth. There's more bandwidth to be into vision than there is into dibur. So Mamela, a person could see something and see it, but he cannot describe it because the dibur is a limitation, and the dibur is something that's limited. So we're just saying perhaps maybe it's connected. But anyway, the Rebbe is talking about the inside of this Sada. And it's interesting now, the Rebbe goes and starts talking about what's outside the Sada, which is very interesting. Yesh kama v'kama neshamas harumas shehem noim v'nodim mechutz l'Sada. There are kama v'kama. So what is this lashon of kama v'kama? In other words, just say there are many neshamas. Yesh kama v'kama neshamas. By the way, I didn't go through. Yeah, no. Reb Chaim, my entire Reb Chaim. There is no thing that's just by chance and by accident.
You look at the Kiddush Tefillos, you look at pretty much every
my friend.
The Rebbe's repetitive.
The Rebbe said that every ois is meduyik and Losher Rabbeinu Zicha. Yeah, there is no such a thing as maybe by chance. Maybe we don't understand it, but it doesn't mean he just by mistake repeated. Yes, kama v'kama neshamas. There's a reason why he's saying kama v'kama neshamas. Doesn't mean that I'm going to get to understand it, but it's so perhaps we said maybe we're talking about ilonos and asavim. So there's kama ilonos that are michutz l'sada, and maybe there's kama asavim that is chutz l'sada.
Which neshama is he talking about? In the body or neshama is outside the body?
We don't know. He's talking about. It seems like he's talking about all the neshamas. This sada, either the neshamas are all the neshamas that are in this world, or maybe all the neshamas that were from Brias Ha'olam ad Soifa Bria. I don't know which neshamas he's talking about, but all these neshamas, there are neshamas that are inside the field that are called Ilonos and Asavim, and there are neshamas that are outside the field that are wandering outside the field, and they're naked neshamas. So it seems right away over here, you would say that what makes a neshama aruma, where it doesn't have a label. It doesn't have The ones that are in the field are either a Elon or a Esav. And a neshama that's arumais maybe is not a Elon or a Esav when it's outside the field. One thing you could say, the pashtus, is that an Elon, a tree or a plant that's not in the field is not growing and it's wandering. The Rebbe says, no, they're not. They're wandering, they don't have a place. And when the Rebbe says that they go back to that place, that means that the place, each neshama's place, is in the field. And soon we'll see, it seems like that every neshama starts off in the field. Every neshama starts off in the field, and somehow they're outside the field. How did they get outside the field? L'chayra, when they're not doing the Ratzon Hashem. L'chayra, because when they're doing the Ratzon Hashem, they're in the field and they're oisim peiros. And when they're not doing the Ratzon Hashem, then they're outside the field.
Is the Isev in the Elonis a physical thing, or it's a muscle to something, and he's calling it Isev Asuda?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's a good question. It's a good question. It's a good question. Why does he use the Sada B'chlal as the place of the neshamas? And why are the neshamas called Ilonus and Asovim? And what makes one neshama Ilon? And what makes a neshama Esav? And what is the difference between an Elon and an Esav?
Where do you see that he says that the neshamas are Ilonus and Asovim?
He says it right here.
Daily Ilonus Asovim.
Right.
In the Sada.
No, and then he says afterwards, the Ilonos Vasovim, Hey, Bechinas Neshamas Gedosh.
Daily.
Not the neshama. Who's sitting here?
It's what the neshama does.
It's the growth of the neshama.
Yeah, the Elon.
Right. So
the Esav.
So the Ilonos and Asovim,
Like I said,
is not the neshama.
Is
Oh, you're going into Kabbalah.
No, not Kabbalah.
Okay, go ahead. No, I don't mean that. Doesn't mean it's not a bad thing.
What when you mala something from this world, when you have the neshamas that he's talking about over here, it could be neshamas of people, but it could be also neshamas, everything out of the neshama. You mala it. So all these neshamas that are in the Sada, when you mala it. When you mal it, you said a bracha on something, you made it even good to Hashem. That you mal it something from this world back to Hashem.
Right.
That's the Elah. And the Esav is when you go down to dig down low to mal it. That's
if you're going deeper down,
you may gather the Elonis and Asab from what you do.
So where's the neshama?
Where's the neshama?
Is
everywhere.
I hear. I'm trying to
understand. In the Sada, the
understand.
Elonis and Asab magdalim over.
Right.
That's where they grow.
So what is, when the Rebbe is telling me, you're saying the growth of the Ilonos, that is the neshama? Hey, neshamas
Elonis v'asovim yofim v'noim. That's the neshama?
Yeah, that's the neshamas. The way I understood it, I'm not saying. I understood it that the neshamas. I mean, everybody understood it. No, how did we learn it? Neshamas are some pairs. Yeah, by the way, neshamas. He's saying a good deal. The neshamas in Siv Beis, whoever says neshamas are some pairs.
When you
so if they're making
do something good,
pairs,
you're making pairs. You're not just living
but the
in this world.
Ilonos are making the pairs. The Asavim are making the pairs. Who makes the pairs in the Elon? I understand.
When he's Megada,
the neshama is the Elon.
Asavim, he's making pairs.
The neshama is the Elon. The
what means a Yid?
Each neshama.
What means on the Neshama? The Rebbe want to bring out the Zieskeit of a Yiddish Neshama.
That it's
That's
Asher. Very nice.
No, but then if you learn like that, then you're learning that the neshama is referring to people.
Yeah. But it's lav dafka.
Well, the Neshama
the Rebbe is talking again. We don't know, but this Sada, where is it? Where is the Sada? Where is the field? Are we in the field? Is the field all the neshamas that are living b'chaim chiyusay today? The one thing's clear that the Rebbe talks about the balasoda. The balasoda is b'chaim chiyusay.
Yeah.
That's clear. So
second, if they're always survivors, then they have to be alive, no?
yes, but it seems like that there is the balasoda, but 100%. But the Rebbe is talking about the biggest balasoda. That's godel, b'maflik, b'muflik, b'mayla, ma'oid. That balasoda is b'chaim chiyusay. B'chaim chiyusay. Rebbe says that, right? So if the Rebbe is talking about the balasoda that's b'chaim. So the truth is, by the way, I don't know if anybody saw the Paparois. The Paparois L'Chachma brings down that this Torah was said when the Rebbe's son was nifter, when Shlomo Ephraim was nifter, and the Rebbe said that was the Al Yidei Misosoi that he was. So I saw that Reb Naftali that the day before the Rebbe was nifter, so the Rebbe was talking about there were thousands of neshamas that are waiting for him. That he should be. So Reb Naftali said to him, but what about, you said, he challenged the Rebbe, he says, they're waiting for, they're taken through his misa. So Reb Naftali said to him, but what you said in Rabbi Yom Ba'ez L'Ruz in Torah Samachay, that the Balasoda could do this, the Chaim Chiyusay. So the Rebbe told him that that's only when Mashiach comes. In other words, only Mashiach will be.
So it's one bechina. He says.
What?
No,
It's one bechina. It's one bechina.
It's one bechina.
So there's a second bechina there.
Okay, so which was saying
Right,
that
yes, why
really,
we have-
well, no, I'm answering him what he's saying is that the Chaim Chiyusay, you're right. And first of all, we believe that the Baal Soda is the Rebbe today, right? And he's not B'chaim Chiyusay today, even though he is B'chaim Chiyusay because they went through the Torahs and through us and everything. But 100% that it seems like that the Rebbe is talking about this Baal Soda that is B'chaim Chiyusay. So if he's B'chaim Chiyusay and he's the Baal Soda, so where is the Soda? 100%. And it could be all if the Soda has all the neshamas from all the. We're talking about neshamas. It doesn't talk about gufim. He's not talking about the gufi. He's talking about the neshamas. So I don't know, but I do think that the Soda is not something that we see physically. It's something that's spiritually, and clearly it's something that's mekusher to something that's ein soif, that's unlimited. Why? Because the Rebbe says asher ayin rasa. So in other words, it's not something that you're able to attain and achieve with a limitation. That's for sure. What? No, I don't know. So I'm saying if I don't know where the Soda is, I don't know where this Soda is, but I'm making it. The Rebbe doesn't. He talks about he describes this Soda without telling me where is the Soda.
Maybe Soda means also my davening. This is the connection to the next piece. My davening is also a Soda because I'm a lucky.
So now you're bringing out a very good point.
Ashra Aina Asa even by the Oasis Hatrili. Ashra Aina Asa that he sees the Oasis Hatrili. The Rebbe is bringing out the nice, the shankheit in the Oasis Hatrili. And Ashra Aina Asa, Oasis, you asked before if it charged us.
Right.
It charged us that you have to know that by saying the base, I don't know what base means. But Ashra Aina Asa Zois. Same Russian stimmt with the next piece. The Rebbe tries to get us a sticker so what is shaykh by us Lamasa Ashra Rasa this. Mi yochel sape.
So
Mi yochel sap mazeros.
Right. So you're saying that it's for sure. The Rebbe is telling you that the Dibur and the Nefesh are connected, and that when the Dibur separates from the Nefesh, what's the Nefesh? The Nefesh is the Neshama. It means that the Dibur is each Oisa Dibur. It has in it a chelik Neshama. Yeah. And so it is a Soda. It's a beautiful thing that he said.
When you are connecting out the Soda.
He's saying a very. Let me. Before I even say what he's saying, I have a question. How did the Olam learn here? Is there more than one Balasoda?
Probably not.
for sure there's more than one balasod.
Every
For
dot
sure.
has a balasod.
What?
Every dot has a balasod.
Right, but forget about the generation. In the same generation, is there more than one? There's for sure more than one balasod.
If I can be medayik,
It's more than one, it's a continuation.
Me, very good. Chaim zog zay. Chaim zog. The Lushan, the Rebbe says, Mi sheroitze lach mos. That means that everybody, Mi sheroitze. Everybody can be the balasod.
Everything has to be connected back to the
Qualifications.
shayr.
One second, they're very, very. Yeah, the qualifications are very, very high. The qualifications.
anybody can do it, just like if you're perfect.
And one second, and the Rebbe says there's three types of balasoda. There's a balasoda that's gadol muflik b'mayla ma'oid, but he can't be going with the Indian only through his misa. There's another balasoda that even with his misa he can't be going. And then there's a balasoda that b'chaim chiyusay. So you see that there's three types of balasodas right away.
Indeed, there's a balasoda that has good followers. There's another balasoda by davening.
This is what I want to get to.
Yeah.
So Mati Gottlieb said to me, which I still don't see it. I can't say that I see it clearly in the Torah, but he said to me, it comes out that really everybody's the balasoda. Each one of us, there's a vada, the balasoda, that he's taking care of the
What
pulas
about all the
asoda.
qualifications that he said?
What?
What about all the qualifications?
Which is a good question. Ish omad v'takev giba v'chol. But it seems like that a person has the ability to be the bala. It seems like it's possible that each one of us individually, we have the ability to be this balasoda by the Misha Roitza Lach Gamosnov. I'm just thought about this now. Means that he could become this ish amud v'takiv v'giba chayil v'chocham v'tzadik gadol. That the lach gamosnov. What does it mean lach gamosnov? Not just that he wants to be the balasoda. He knows that in order to be the balasoda, he has to be a tzaddik, a chacham, a warrior, a amud v'takiv. He needs to be all these things. These are the criteria. And an emtzachun. Today I'm going to start being a tzaddik gadol, a chacham. What?
Can be a chacham.
Why not?
You're born this way or not.
What do you mean? What's chachma? What's the chachma? The chachma is not. It's not my IQ. The chachma is not IQ. Chachma is not IQ. It's not your capabilities of thing. Chachma is attaching yourself to chachma. Attaching yourself to the seichel, to the ego. So maybe it's possible.
You for sure.
So one second. So I just want to say what Rav Shia said. So Rav Shia is saying that if you, so I'm making this as a agduma and a hanocha. So if you say that everybody could be the balasoda, so where is my soda? Where is my soda? So of course my soda is all the neshama. The Rebbe talks about the neshama that all the
person has malchus.
The neshama.
Malchus,
right? Yeah, right. The Rebbe talks about in Torah Nun Vav. The Rebbe talks about that everybody has his malchus and his family, his friends, his kollel, his all the things. Everybody has neshamas that are tzluyim by. But l'chayr, what Reb Shia is saying, and I think it's nice, very nice, that my soda is my diburei atfilah. I like it. I like it. The diburei atfilah. Why? Because you see that the Rebbe talks about that the dibur is mekusher with the neshama, with the nefesh. The dibur is mekusher with the nefesh.
I have a question, a caveat on this, because really what he talks in Bais, in Chaylik Bais, is the tzitzim efruchim, everything is good, the dibirat tefillah, but then the dibirat tefillah are not neshamas. Clearly, in the first part, he talks about neshamas.
Why not? They're in the faket. I'll bring you a raya why it is neshamas. The Rebbe says like going into the field and collecting the flowers.
But
One second. And we just said that the field, anything that's in the field, is neshamas. All the plants and flowers that are in the field, they're all neshamas.
Dibirat tefillah are not neshamas.
Who says? Who says? Who says? So if you go, the Rebbe is explaining that the nefesh and the diba are really one. They're one, and when you kishi yoytza hadiba, which is a funny logic, kishi yoytza hadiba, like is it connected yoytza hadiba to the going out of the field? That means when the dibur and the nefesh are together, they're in the field. And when the dibur goes out, kishi yoitza dibur, then the dibur is going out. So if you hold on to the dibur, and you hold on to that base, and you make the one kulay echad from the, it just hit me now, and you make kulay echad from the dibur, you make it one, then you're doing the pulas asada. Then you're mamish mashke ilonos, you're doing all the pulas asada. But if the dibur is separated and the base is gone, then it's outside the field. And when it's outside the field, it's mamish moydik. By the way, just there's something that just hit me just now.
Let me ask you, this story has a shaykhs with the mask in Chigit.
Yes, I started. Someone showed me. Yehuda Reichman showed me in Breslov shul 2 nights ago, and I didn't look it up. Did you look it up? I didn't look it up. So, but it seems like it's mamish talking. It's connected. Yeah. From what I saw from the Oasis, it's connected to this. So one second. So wait. Chaim. So let me explain.
How does people? So let's say these are all minor shows, right? You all belong to me.
You see.
So my Debira Tefillah are them?
No. That's what Mati was saying before. That Pashtus, you can say the Malchus that I have, the Neshamas that are connected, my children, my wife, that's my son. And maybe that is also. But
how did they become your Debira Tefillah?
1 second. You're moving two different things. Let's talk about. The Rebbe talks about.
You're talking about Chalik Bais?
Yes, Siv Beis. The Rebbe talks about that every dibur is a world. Right? What is it? He called Dibur v'Dibur. It's its own world. It's its own field. Dibur is a field. How? Because the Dibur, how does the Dibur come from? Where does it come from? It comes from the Nefesh. And what is the Nefesh? My Neshama. So the Dibur and my Neshama are one. And now, Kishi Yoitza HaDibur, it's going out of the field. This is just something that I see could be very meduyik right here. And the dibur is leaving the neshama. What does the dibur say to the neshama? Neshama, you know, Marchem David's song Neshama? The neshama, the neshama, the malach and the neshama before the neshama comes down. The neshama and the dibur are one, and the dibur is saying to the neshama, please don't leave me.
What does it mean not to leave?
What does it mean? What does it mean not to leave you? So that means l'chayra, you're going out of the field. We're saying this now. I don't know if there's something that the dibur is leaving the neshama, but the neshama is telling you. The nefesh is part of the neshama.
Yeah, but
it's part of the neshama. We're saying that we're trying to connect it. Well, I'm not saying that it is.
the bottom of the neshama.
So that's the one that's in the asavim. That's the one that's in the low that you have to pull up.
To make one of everything, when everything is connected back to Hashem, so the nefesh tells the dibur, don't think like you put on tefillin today, you said davening, that's it, it's over. You connected to something.
Yeah.
You did something. It's not like you didn't do anything.
Correct. So we're saying that
not to leave it as if you didn't do anything.
Okay, that's very nice. Very nice, yes. But the dibur is definitely connected to this neshama. So we're saying,
neshama?
Yes, to your neshama.
Beautiful.
Because
but
if you're...
Before you said
so that means every... one second, let me just say something. Every davening that you're saying, every bracha that you're saying, is all neshamas that are in my field. These are all diburei hatfilah. And each dibur is a world.
But how does it correlate to this gentleman? That's it. He's in my field, yeah? You must.
No. We're not going to him. We're going through you.
If I'm the Baal Soda, and I have all these...
Diburei hatfilah, yes.
So you're saying all these Diburei are each individual neshamas?
Yes.
And those are people who listen to me?
I don't know if they listen to you. They're connected to you. They are connected to you, and it's your field.
Every tefillah I have is someone showing the world.
Every
real guy with the neshama with the name and everything.
Every Aleph, the Rebbe talks about where everything is made up of.
Yeah, everything is made up of oasis.
But they're real people?
They're real neshamas. They're real neshamas. One second.
What's in a neshama?
Yeah, every dibur is a world.
Typically something that's
called dibur the dibur who oilam malay.
Connected to God, but what is it?
What is it?
What is an ois?
You're looking. Chaim, you're looking in the shama as it has to have a goof. Who says?
So I can be a Baal Soda for all my Debira Tefillah.
That's what the Rebbe is telling you. And the Rebbe is telling us that the way for you to be with your Dibur Tefillah is to make your Tefillah into one. And
But where do you see
l'chayra,
that you bala soda on your tefillah?
I don't. And not only I don't see. I'm just saying
I know, because
that
they
there
have
are
a
those that are
lashon
learning
in the
here
tefillah, it says,
that the
"Kodem
Bala
ha'oilach
Soda.
basoda," not the Bala Soda. Oilach
why
basoda,
what are trees and flowers?
you work in the field.
My Dibur Tefillah. Every ois that I'm speaking out is my tree and flowers. The Rebbe calls it roses and prochem and tzitzim. I don't know what the what.
Yeah.
Ois oilam is in neshamas velikis. Yeah. That every neshama, he's saying that every
That's
ois
the thing.
has
Tzitzim,
neshama.
Yeah. All three.
So every neshama
Is a
Baal Sada.
no, every neshama, every ois of tefillah is a neshama, and the Bala Soda is me that's controlling my tefillah. And if my tefillah is one,
And so the
then
person sitting next to me
I'm
is
doing
in
the
the Baal
pu'ulas
Sada?
asada. What?
So the person sitting next to me is in the Baal Sada?
He is on his tefillah, on his dibur. Everybody is. That's what we're saying. Perhaps that the Rebbe is telling us that they're all.
Ben Aboyd in the Shumas?
Yes, Shlomi.
Yes, Shlomi.
You got Lakewood Neshumas, by
Let
the
me
way.
tell you something. We all understand that, I don't want to say it here, but on Zoom I will say it. It's not for here, but I have something to say, but not for the I'm going to hold back. So I want to say one thing that we, yesterday I was learning with Rabbi Yehuda, my chavrus over here, and we said something that maybe is a nice deal. The Rebbe says that there's Bala Soda that's able to do b'chaim chiyusoi, he's godol umuflig b'mayla ma'oid ma'oid. And if you medayik before, when the Rebbe was talking about the Bala Soda, he said kitzorach liyos adam godol umuflig b'mayla ma'oid, one ma'oid. And when he talks about this Bala Soda that's going through b'chaim chiyusoi, he says that it's ma'oid ma'oid. So we thought that maybe perhaps that if you see the Rebbe when he talks in Siv Gimel about coming to this place of echad, of kuloi toiv, to understanding that even though a person goes through yisurim in this world, but if he's mevatel himself to the tachlis and he realizes that the kavanas of the Eibishter is only for his benefits, even though he's going through these terrible yisurim, it's all for his benefit. That's one echad, that's one avoid of the Bala Soda. And the other avoid of the Bala Soda is to make the Dibura Tefillah echad. So we said maybe that is meduyik, that the Rebbe says ma'oid, that this Bala Soda that's able to do it b'chaim chiyusoi, it's because he's able to make all the Dibura Tefillah one and all the Yisurim to come to this place of bittul of kulei echad, and that's the ma'oid ma'oid. Just something that there's one thing that we saw, something that we were able to say over. Anyway, maybe it's a helpful. I think, right? We're done. So this is just the beginning. And any questions or any?
He has a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, he has a question.
Let's go. Let's go.
Was it the side of the guy? Hat to go the moon of Madaf Mavaltazan to Tachlis, and when jeder Mensch die sich Mavaltazan zu der Tachlis kennt the Balasude, die staat zo de Mensch macht Pirates, und de Mensch macht Pirates kennt the Balasude darauf zu kriegen zu the Twille Echad, the zwei
Yeah. So let me. You're asking. How does? Let me say your question a little bit different. Let me ask you a question. The Rebbe says that when the Bala Soda, when we do Ritzoyna Shel Mokar and we're making Paris, then the Soda becomes a state Soifim. And when the Soda becomes a state Soifim, then the Bala Soda has power to be able to be Soifim v'roya l'mokum shetzorach, right? So the question we asked is, what does it have to do with the state Soifim? If we're talking about the Bala Soda's Reeh, why it's the Bala Soda's Reeh? What does it have to do when it's state Soifim? Then the Bala Soda is able to see. What does the state Soifim give power to the Bala Soda? if it's about the Balasoda, that he's able to see what does it have to do with the Soda. The state Soifim. What?
You got to give him something to work with.
Okay, and when it's day boichem and he can't.
Day boichem, it's a chub. Someone going down. You can mal.
That's not what you're asking? Oh, so, I'm sorry, so say it again.
Die fragt sich, dass er sich umgefallen die ganze Zeit.
Ja, wie sagt es so?
How does it even start?
Wenn er schon was macht, Pirates, dann muss kein der Balasude
See?
sein.
Right, so what was before the Pirates?
Wo seht ihr? Seht ihr der Oilem ist bald, die Menschen in der
What was that word then?
What was it?
If I was
going down, you're
then I'm already Yosef Pius, meaning that
Oh,
what the
but Yosef
Balasuda did
Pius.
before that. Obviously, let's say some neshama was out of the field. It wasn't Yosef Pius. Balasuda takes that neshama, puts it in the field. Then he's Yosef Pius. To do what? To be Yosef Pius.
But you avoid and avoid of the tzaddik is much different levels. So the Balasuda takes you avoid in Ismail.
If he needs this tight soifim to be able to fix my neshama, then how did he get me in the first place?
If he right.
How did he get me in the first place?
And it's
So there are those that
mashma.
say that even when a person's not oysa it's on shemukim, the tzaddik could work with that neshama. But if the neshama wants to achieve the tachlis, then he has to do a serisa de lasata. You can't just, there's what you get in the free plan, and then afterwards, once you're already in it, now you gotta give.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Out of the field, out of the field. And Smashmach, when he says Vesapir, said he is, but the whole Torah sounds like when Tefillah al Sikuna, he brings him to the field that it happens beforehand. And that's where the whole
That happens beforehand.
And I don't know
he's saying,
exactly
but when it's
how to say it,
Vesapir,
but I heard it from someone. He said that the Bala Suda is the state soifim itself.
The Balasoda
Is the state soifim.
Okay.
Meaning, he explained.
It's the Balasoda state Soifim? That it's an individual?
He is state soifim.
Soifim Eloshim the Nevuah.
So it's not like a certain place and the tzaddik is running around. It's him. Because he's saying that the soda is the shorish hachi is the whole neshama. It's a whole.
You hear what he's saying? It's something interesting.
I don't
That
remember.
he's saying that the Soda itself is the Balasoda.
Avi, it's all yours, Avi. Shira Mal is
The Balasoda. It's not the Soda that the Balasoda is working. It's his Soda. It's himself. It's something. It's interesting.
See, Skaya.
Skaya.
Very good.